Welcome. I like to welcome Kathy Nolan. We are so grateful to have you here in our Ojai community and excited that you join our online Peace Day celebration in 2020 with the theme of Shaping Peace Together. I know Kathy as a visionary, insightful, and hands-on contributor in so many areas of our community life. And I look forward to hear more from this inspiring woman.
Okay, well, thank you. I feel honored to be asked to join you, and always in alignment with peace, and so happy for the work that you're doing.
So, Kathy Nolan is a landscape architect and the owner of Studio Landscape here in Ojai. She is the board director and president of the Ojai Green Coalition. She presently serves as a planning commissioner for the City of Ojai and is actively involved with Complete Streets and the Tree Committee. She holds 2 certificates in permaculture, urban and international, in addition, certification from the National Charrette Institute.
Charrette, but you were close.
Charrette, thank you. Kathy is passionate about the planet and all that it holds, including the resilience of our local community by working together. She is also a co-founder of Ojai International City of Peace.
Yeah.
Welcome, Kathy. And you know, the theme is shaping peace together. So maybe you could speak a little bit about what this theme means for you and your community service work with Green Coalition and these other projects.
Well, actually, that's perfect, shaping peace together. Because I think one thing that drives me is to work in community, to work together collaboratively, or as a coalition and partners. And more of us are just a bigger part of what we could do. So rather than operating, alone or by oneself, us collectively we can get more done and have a bigger impact, I believe. So yeah, so that drives me, and that's part of being on the board with the Green Coalition. Part of our mission is, it's in our name, coalition, that we work together with others, and the same thing with being on the Planning Commission for the City of Ojai. It's also the community coming together, and in my case, working together to me is the optimum way of doing something and getting something done. And it's not only that, it's you form new bonds and relationships with people, and I think that's really powerful and important too. And then when you bring it into peace, I find working to if we can't work together, how can we expect peace? I mean, that's what it's all about. How can we get together with all of our differences and our different ways of doing things and operating, but ultimately, kind of finding that commonality that brings us together, that common thread, whatever it is, and being able to collaborate. So
this shaping peace together seems to be your day-to-day work and the high value you stand for, really working together.
Right. You know what? Excuse me. Another thing that I thought of too was, this has crossed my mind, and it's been in numerous conversations that I've had with others in the community. The question sometimes comes up about conflicts, not being in peace. Not that I have all the answers, believe me, I don't. I wish I did. But I find that if we can help others, even just to cover their basic needs, like housing, food, clothing, a clean environment, it actually frees people up, and including with that would be actually jobs and part in the economy, to be able to kind of get outside of that survival mode and be open to be at peace, or something else where they may want to help volunteer or be a part of their community in a greater, bigger way, maybe beyond their family unit. So that's the big, huge challenge.
Yeah, I love that you say that. It's like this basic need of, like the survival, having enough food and water, having shelter, and feeling safe.
Feeling safe, exactly. And do I have work, and how am I going to be able to take care of my family? So, and they all, you know, it sounds so basic, but it is basic, and it is a basic need. And I do see that, you know, worldwide, that's a huge issue. And so that is part of the thing that drives me to work in my community and do what I can to help make it, you know, bigger, better, and greater for the greater good for everyone.
Yeah. Could you speak a little bit about Complete Streets, just so people have a broad idea of what it's about?
Complete Streets. So Complete Streets is about making the streets safe and accessible for everyone. So that means people in cars, emergency vehicles, bike riders, pedestrians, work trucks, whoever is going to be in kind of using that public right of way. And then in addition, and tied into that, was actually air quality. And it has since kind of morphed where they sometimes use the term green streets. So you're looking at like stormwater capture, you're adding street trees, you're adding site furnishings like maybe benches and trash cans. So essentially the public right of way, so like kind of the streets and the sidewalk, become almost what you would call like a public park in a way, with a mode of transportation. So I find that really exciting. Maybe it's because I'm a landscape architect and I love planning and I love plants, but I ride a bike, I have a car, and I walk sometimes. And I grew up in LA and I rode my bike everywhere. And that was like pre-helmet. You know, we didn't have bike lanes or anything, but I loved the freedom of being a kid and even a teenager and even in college, whenever, of being, and I still, on my bike, it's almost like riding a horse in a way, or if you've ever climbed like to the top of the tree in a windstorm, there's a little bit of a wild feeling to it, at least that I get, and that you know, can power it yourself. And then now we've got e-bikes, which I just think is fabulous. And so that's kind of the background and my interest in Complete Streets. But I think what's really exciting is that the City of Ojai actually had us write the policy or co-write the policy with the city, meaning the Planning Commission and several commissioners. And they also allowed us to write a master plan that took it to a whole nother level. And because of that, and because we have this Complete Streets ongoing group, although we have been in hiatus since the COVID in March, excuse me, the city has been able to get funding for this ATP grant that it's in process right now, and a pilot project called Go Ojai, to add bike lanes to varying degrees and extend the sidewalk for pedestrians and more street trees for a good portion of our main streets in Ojai. They both have to be state highways. We're working with Caltrans, but I'm really excited about that. I just think it's a good thing. I think it's good for the greater community. And I will say that during this process of Complete Streets, we've done surveys, actually formal surveys, like through the Safe Routes to School organization. And we went out to public and private schools and found out, doing a survey with administrators and the teachers and the parents, that a lot of them would love to have the children walking or riding to school, but because they did not feel it's safe, they don't encourage it, or the parents don't allow it. But it's kind of interesting how it all dovetails back into, we're always talking about, oh, there's nowhere to park in Ojai and there's too much traffic. And being in Inland Valley, we do have, along with Simi Valley, the greater air pollution in Ventura County. But it's all connected, and it all gets back to even our own health. You know, if we can get around in an alternate mode, not only are we helping with, say, carbon emissions, but we're getting some exercise too. So
So
I can say
Kathy,
more than
what?
that. I'm happy about it.
Yeah, thank you. So can you give us a sense of what gives you hope for the planet and future generations?
You know, this is an interesting one. And sometimes I wonder if I'm too much of a cheerleader because I'm fully aware of what's going on the planet. And, you know, I, along with others, could easily go into a state of despair, easily. But you know, I don't even know if I can define with this little kernel of hope and light that I always have, but I do have it. And sometimes you know, I've been in groups and you know, it feels like we're not going anywhere, but I just say to myself, okay, I'm really the only person I'm in charge of, and the only person that I can tell what to do or not do, and or make a change. And I can encourage others, but really it has to begin with me. So I really need to walk, bike, whatever else, the talk, so to speak, walk the talk. And I'm not perfect. I have other things that I'm still working on, but I actually enjoy the challenge of doing some of these things. It's like, yeah, I can do that. Let's test it out. And then make it part of my life. You know, like I was explaining earlier about my tree going down, which was my air conditioner. And I sort of made this vow that I'm not ever getting air conditioning. Now, I did turn a fan on when it was 119. I will say that. But it's not that I'm not trying to suffer and be a martyr. I just like, okay, if we're talking about air pollution or carbon emissions, and we're saying, you know, everybody needs to get an electric car, or we need all these new grids. It's like, what can we do individually? And so I ask myself, and then I come up with challenges, and then I do it. And hopefully I can share it with others and it rubs off. But I do actually enjoy a challenge. So I guess that's where the hope is. I feel like there's this little light of I could do nothing and I could go into a really state of depression, or could I come up with some solutions and do something and make a difference and ask others to join me and do that. I enjoy doing this.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I think it makes a difference.
Yeah, I hear you. You mentioned you are maybe like a cheerleader, and you really want to inspire people to, in a way, act for themselves, reflect on where there is a challenge, but face it with joy, and maybe changing some habits and think new, do new.
Yeah,
let's all be part of the change.
The solution. Yeah.
Now, and I like what you're saying, in a way, looking for a breakthrough, not a breakdown.
Exactly.
You know,
yeah.
We could easily go in
the could do this.
Yeah, but we decide, maybe that's the invitation,
yeah.
Speak out, see, and do everything that it is a breakthrough.
Right. And sometimes the things I do, I mean, they seem really small, but I'm just going, you know, if everybody did the small thing, that's big.
And that is this shaping piece together, not waiting that somebody in government or somewhere does it decide for us, but we, the people, shape peace together in every moment. Yeah.
Right. And I would share, you know, this is something that I've done personally. I'm still working on it. But it's being able to look at everyone and just almost everything and be present with it. I may not like everything I'm seeing. That doesn't mean I have to condone everything I'm seeing. I don't. You know, I can discern from that, but almost to like recognize the beingness of everyone and everything. And I know we're all at a different stage. You know, we come onto the planet, we've, you know, have past history, and we're in different phases of evolution, so to speak. And, you know, that's not always easy to do. And I will admit that for myself, but just to kind of grant that beingness. And when I do that, it's easier to shape peace when I do that. And so, that's one thing I'm working on and continue to work on. And,
well, you're really an inspiration to the both of us. I think that, you know, when we got our bicycles, I think it was likely because we kept seeing you on yours. And, you know, it's a great joy to work with you, to have co-founded Ojai International City of Peace. And Lisa and I really look forward to sharing this video and others on Peace Day Monday.
Great.
So great thanks. Yeah, great thanks.
Thank you for everything you do here in the community, Kathy.
You're welcome. I will continue to do it. Not giving up.
Wonderful. We need that.
Fantastic.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.